Okay, next thing that I want to talk about is the textures and materials, little bit and how to change them. For example, right now we have this plane in the sea. This BG that is called BG. Let's call this one our ground, okay. Ground, and this ground, if we select this ground, we have the mesh renderer inside, which is main components, and it has this material element. If we select this material, it has this element 0, and if we select this material, it will take us where we have the material. So it has some material which only has the color. But that's not all that our game objects can have. They also can have some textures now with the color. And for that to add some textures to the color, and the color to the game object, we need to have some textures models. And I prepared these tiny textures pack. It will be attached on this video and it includes some different kind of textures. As you see, we can open any of them. It has the wood, some tiles, roofs and stuff like that. And we can use any of those materials basically on our ground or on any other game object. For that, what we need to do, we need to create the material. New material. So for example, let's go in details and let's create new material here. Let's call this one ground 1. And I will assign this ground one material into this ground first of all. So we will just drag and drop it here. And now our ground has just default material, white material, and now only these materials. So here, while is ground selected, you see it has these albedo elements. We can now drag our textures in the albedo. For example, this one. And now you see we have different material. Well, it's right now not perfect in size. It's not perfect right now, so we can change size by changing the styling. You can change patterns just like this. And make it much better. I think it's like this. Yeah, I think it looks alright now. Probably needs to go even more higher. Yeah, I think it looks alright. And you see we have now completely different material. We can also change how metallic it is, and how smooth it is. And yeah, you can apply different textures, completely different textures to your game. For example, I really like this one. And I think I will leave it as it is right now. But we can basically go and creating completely other material. So let's say we want to create some wood material. Even though I don't know why we want that. Let's create some grass material. So in the grass we will create again material. Let's call this one grounds 2. Let's drag this ground to here. And again we can choose any of those grasses. For example, I will drag this in the albedo again. Let's change the tile link on the X and on the Y. Let's go in game wheel, and now you see we have completely different ground and different material. So if we hit play right now, everything will still work because we only changed design of the ground. We did not made any changes to our actual ground. So everything will still look fine. But the difference will be that now we will have much better material. And I think it's really better to have some textures to the ground. That's than what we had before. Just some basic before. It was some just basic, colorful plane that we have in the test scene as well. But right now we have some actual ground texture. And I think it looks fine. And it's quite easy trick how you can create some textures for your games. You can obviously play around with other materials as well, and process will be completely same. You can do exactly that with the buildings as well. So for example, let's select this one, which is wall 04. And let's see it has this material let's find here. Well, let's create brick material for that wall. So I will create new material. Let's call this one wall. And I will drag this material here. And as you see, it's now white, but we can drag some Greek texture here. Any of those textures, let's see what it looks best. They doesn't look any good, I think, but let me just play around little bits. Let's choose well. Where is our wall Yetis? And we can play around with the tiling. Probably needs to go really up just to see the texture that we want. Let's try to 100 by 200. Yeah, I think we need to go up. Not 3,500 maybe. Yeah, I think it looks fine now. Better now, and you see. Now we have completely different look for this wall. You just need to play around with the tiling on the X and Y to get the right patterns. But yeah, this wall still is our wall. Still has some physical sense to it. Still has some colliders on it. But we changed the way how it looks. And I strongly recommend you to play around and change the textures if you will use the specific scene. Because this specific scene and buildings and pieces doesn't have much of the texture supplied to it. So you can do it really better. And that's pretty much it. How you can work with the materials. I'll end this video over here. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any new videos. See you in the next videos.